school. Okay. So good morning, everyone. Going in, as you know, to an important discussion on Colombia, country Ireland has enormous respect for, and of course, a peace process that we have worked on very much, also minded by our own national history. Today, anxious to make sure that as we move to an important phase of Colombia's modern history and the implementation of the peace agreement as elections are prepared, that we really keep focused on rolling out this historically important peace plan. In particular, I'm going to say this morning that we're very appreciative and conscious of the work being done on transitional justice. We know what this means firsthand as Irish people, and certainly the work underway in the Truth Commission, very, very important, and we're looking forward to seeing the results of that. I'll also say that we're concerned about the violence on the ground, and that's something we need to be vigilant about. We've seen human rights defenders lose their lives recently. We've seen unacceptable levels of violence, so a concern just to make sure that as every effort is made to keep this peace process on track and rolled out with elections coming up, that we also watch what's happening on the ground in terms of human life and the loss of human rights defenders in particular recently. So.
Sorry, really quickly on Colombia. This session happens pretty much just a couple of hours after yet another attack happened on the eastern side of Colombia. There was another car bombing attempt. So I wonder if there's anything like from the council perspective can be either, I don't know, talked or said to the Colombian authorities just to give you additional assurances that there's going to be something done to specifically try to reduce these kind of attacks in Colombia.
Well, look, I think you'll have established what I just said, that this is a really worrying phase. I mean, it's the time when the implementation of peace is really tested. We're hoping that, you know, the presence of the Colombian government, the state presence, which is also envisaged as part of the peace plan, is actually established so that the state is present in a lot of areas which have been historically neglected. Having said that, the violence is completely unacceptable, and we will nationally make that point and say that we are vigilant on this. This is a worrying time.
Ambassador, last time the report came out, it was talked about the leaders in the region, and you just mentioned, is any measures or anything that you would like the Colombian government to implement to assure that leaders, candidates, don't get assassinated or harassed, especially with the election coming up?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, a safe and secure environment for elections is a fundamental principle. I think the Secretary General's recent visit was very important in that he also managed to bring across leaders from different political backgrounds in a cohesive way, a very important signal sent there. The judiciary were involved in discussions with the Secretary General, so we thought that he performed a very important role there, and I think there was momentum following his visit. We will insist on that again today. There's a need for, across the board, safe and secure environment for democratic elections, for sure.
Ambassador, a couple of other issues, because we haven't spoken to you for some time. I don't know if you're going to be talking to us this afternoon about DPRK or whether you want to talk about it now.
I can.
Okay, so I have a question on DPRK and a question on Ukraine. On DPRK, what can the Council do? I know you're considering adding names to existing sanctions, new designations, but what about new sanctions? And then alternatively, is there another way of looking at it? Clear Kim wants attention. Should someone just actually start talking to him at this point?
Well, we're all in favour of dialogue, and there have been offers of dialogue for sure with DPRK. We have insisted that DPRK listen to the voices of the United States and Korea, who have offered dialogue, and that those offers have not been taken up. So absolutely favour dialogue. In terms of, you know, this is a meeting after 3 missile launches now in roughly 10 days, I think. We're really concerned about that, and we will be very clear in that today. The response to this has to be that we insist on the full implementation of sanctions. Our objective in all of this is to see a denuclearized, safe Korean peninsula. That will be delivered through political dialogue. In the meantime, if we keep seeing ballistic missiles being launched, there has to be a response, and we want to see the panel of experts get down to work and look in detail at what that response should be.
And on Ukraine, very quickly, most of the diplomacy has understandably been in Europe, but when should the Council get involved? It is a Council issue. is the Council just going to sit and wait until Putin invades and then have a meeting?
Absolutely not. I mean, what we want to see is political dialogue, de-escalate the tensions. There have been important discussions in Europe with the European Union, Ireland. The Irish Foreign Minister, Simon Coveney, has been deeply involved in those discussions. It's the European neighbourhood we're talking about here. Secretary of State is in Europe this week and also will meet with Foreign Minister Lavrov. We want to see a de-escalation of tension through dialogue, and that's where our hopes rest now. And of course, as a member of the Council, we're hyper-vigilant about what's happening on the ground in Ukraine.
Would there be a meeting soon?